What's up, YouTube? So today's topic, I'm gonna talk about signs someone doesn't really have a true purpose in life, and signs someone is very useless in life, and signs they're not really meant to have a huge impact in their life. So let's get to it. Now, this is based on my opinion, but I think the signs where you could tell someone doesn't really have a true purpose in life is when they make a million, like they have so much money in their bank account, like they have so much money to where they don't have to work. But it's more than that, where like they're financially free to where they could travel around the world. Or they're very popular, they're very like mainstream, where like they're well known on social media. Like they're like our mainstream YouTubers, our mainstream social media influencers, even famous athletes and stuff like that. One of the signs you can tell they don't really have a purpose like that, or like they're kind of useless in a way, is if like they have so much influence and they have so much money, but they don't use it in the right way. Meaning like, when I say they have so much influence, I don't mean in a way where like they're changing people's lives, they're changing society. No, meaning like they're very well known. That's what I mean when I say they have a lot of influence. But I take that word back. But basically, you guys know, I guarantee you, what I'm saying in this video, you guys have a lot of people that comes into mind. It could be like famous athletes, hip hop artists, it could be um social media influencers and stuff like that, and your typical famous people, like your celebrities and stuff like that. I feel like these people really, they're not that powerful spiritually, and like they're very weak, and that they're very cowardly, and I feel like they're very useless and don't have a true purpose in life. They're meant to have an easy life and not do anything with it, because it's like, how do you have so much money? How do you have so much, like, how are you that well known? But these people, they don't have any influence when it comes to this world. And I know the reasons why. The reasons why they don't have as much influence in this world is because they're meant to act a certain way, and they are controlled whether the things they want to say and the things they cannot say. So they can't speak out against real corruption. They can't speak out against the injustices, what's going on in society. They're not going to speak out against all the pedophiles who rule over this world. They're not going to speak about justice. They're not going to go against the corruption that as we the people are facing. Instead, they'll abide by what their bosses are telling them how to act, what to say, because their lives are controlled. This is why they have so much money. This is why they have so much influence, because if it wasn't, because they were doing certain things behind closed doors that have a lot of dirt on them, to where they're able to make a lot of money. Most of them do, but some of them don't. Some of them just, by luck, they're just meant to have a lot of money as part of their life path. But just because you have a lot of money, just because you're very well known, doesn't mean you're powerful. Doesn't mean you have influence. Doesn't mean you're a leader. It could definitely well mean you're very useless. It could also mean you don't have a true purpose in life, or like you're very weak spiritually. Because I feel like if you have a lot of money, if you're very well known, I feel like it's your obligation, and it is your duty to help out the world, especially if you are well known. You can use that to change the society, to start to have a domino effect over the peoples, to make them change for the better, to speak out against the injustices and real corruption. It's not too hard to know what's the things that are going on is not right. Everything in society is not right. There's a lot of world corruption. There's a lot of money enslavement. There's a lot of wars and battles going on. There's a lot of world corruption. There's a lot of shit that's not right. There's a lot of enslavement. We are forced to work. People are not supporting the homeless. People are getting overcharged. People are barely making, most people are in poverty. Those are just minor examples. There's a lot of things that's going on, but yet you have all these people in America. They have so much wealth. They're very well known, but yet they're not making any type of influence, and the only minor things they really do is the things that they are programmed or forced to do. Like they of course they use their monies for charities. They use their money on schools and stuff like that, but that's not really doing anything. That's not real change. The only reason why they're doing that is because they're either told to do that, or they're very clueless. And that reverts back to what I'm saying in this video. That's the reasons why they're useless, don't have a strong purpose, or they're very weak spiritually. Because if you have that much wealth and influence, but yet you don't know how to use it to better the society, better the people for the better, then you are useless. You are a weak spirit, and you don't have a true purpose in life, regardless of what people may say. It's just facts. You don't have a true purpose. You're useless, because there's people who die over fighting for justice, people who sacrifice over justice, people who get killed over that shit, and yet you have all these people who gets all this money from from all these taxpayers and what the system is giving them and shit like that, that are stealing from the people. They have that much influence, but yet they're not or they're very well known, but they're not making any type of influence. They're just and it's funny too, because most of these people, they do the opposite. They push out bullshit. They push out things that are not good for the human mind. They are bad influences for the newer generations, because if you look at what they do on social media, they do a lot of nonsense. They don't All they do is scream, yell, um talk about their relationship drama and stuff like that. They promote things that are not good for the human mind, especially for younger kids, for future generations. They promote bullshit. So none of them really have any substance to them. So that's how you know. So I'm starting to realize is that people like that. And I've heard a couple, shout out to Chauncey One, because Chauncey One mentioned that people who have like an easier life, people who don't have to struggle like that, they tend to be weaker spirits, weaker souls. They tend to like be very they're like baby spirits. There are new spirits incarnated into the human experience, so they don't know any better and they're very useless, which makes sense. So I think shout out to Chauncey One on his YouTube channel, because he mentioned that, and when he said that, like, I could definitely see that. Like, that's facts. Honestly, it makes sense on why, because you see it, because it's not that hard to see, because why is that some people have a harder life compared to others? Yes, karma may play a role, but I feel like people have an easier life. There are weaker spirits. They're weaker mentally. They don't have any influence. Their mind is weak, and like, it makes sense. And usually people have easier lives. These are the same people that promote a lot of bullshit. They are the same people that doesn't make any changes, or they just don't. They're very like, they don't have any influence, despite them being well known, have that much money. They have very easy lives, and the things they talk about is bullshit that no one gives a fuck about. It's just entertainment. And even then, that's oversaturated. The only reason why they're well known is because society promotes that. So shout out to Chauncey One, because he mentioned things like that, and it makes sense that a lot of people, basically everyone that's famous, that have a lot of money, they're very well known, popular, but yet none of them speaks out against world corruption. None of them speaks out against the injustices. None. They don't know how to use their wealth to better the society. They don't. They only do shit that they're told to do. So they are no different than 9-to-5 workers. Are no different than, they're just ass kissers. They're just ass kissers, because most likely they sign contracts on the things what to say and not to say in order for them to get that wealth and be well known and stuff like that. Basically, all this shit's handed to them. So that's all I got to say. Have a good one. Peace.